ResortLoop.com is proud to be sponsored by Joffrey's Coffee and Tea Company. Joffrey's now offers coffee subscriptions. You can order a 3, 6, or 12-month subscription. You can choose from 3 collections: the Flavored Coffee Collection, the Roastmasters Collection, or the Disney Signature Coffee Collection. Each collection includes 3 bags per month. With the Joffrey's Coffee subscriptions, never run out of great coffee again. Learn more and order at Joffreys.com.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
The body of water that you see to the right of our forward motion is the Seven Seas Lagoon. The Seven Seas Lagoon is a man-made creation that took 3 years and the removal of millions of cubic yards of earth to complete.
Hey everybody, thanks for joining me. I'm Tim Scott. This is ResortLoop.com, the gateway to the... And I'm here. I considered multiple things. I didn't know how to start off the show, so I'm just starting off this way. This week, the announcement came down. Of course, the end of Disney's Magical Express in 2022. If you're going this year in 2021, you're good to go. But if you're planning any trips past that, you'll have to find your own way to the parks, either by Mears Motor Shuttle. I'm guessing it's going to probably be the official Disney World transfer company, because Mears actually, I guess they were doing Magical Express, but they were actually the official company before the whole Magical Express thing. So you can use Uber or Lyft, of course, rent a car where you'll be able to pay for parking. Yay. So there's that. I debated on this show for quite a long time, because the initial announcement, I was angry. Follow up as I was thinking about things, I'm like, well, maybe it kind of makes sense, followed by more anger. Probably the one thing that, probably made me the most angry was how they tried to put it all together by saying, hey, there will also be no more extra magic hours, but you get in the parks half an hour early every day. So that's going to make up for it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We're happy to do it. No, so I don't know. I'm going to just read the comments. I posted this on Looper Nation Live, our private Facebook group. I want to get a little bit of feedback here, and I'm just going to I probably won't read everybody, but I'm just going to comment as I read down the list, because I actually have a big long list of things right here, but it would just sound like I'm ranting and raving like a lunatic. Instead, I'm just going to do a podcast like a lunatic. Okay, anyway. Patrick says, we've used it frequently. I'm guessing the new train between MCO and Disney Springs, estimated to complete in 2022. Perhaps that will be the alternative. Patrick, I agree. I think that will be considered an alternative. I don't see it happening in 2022. I don't even think the tracks are beginning laid. I don't even know if there's a train station that's even started being built. If it takes as long as some of the parking decks over there, it's not going to be 2022. So I think people will be doing the Mears thing or renting their own car. So at least in 2022. I'd be shocked. It could happen. I don't think so. Catherine Lennox says, we use it all the time since it keeps down the cost of renting a car. And I'm really sad to hear this. Catherine, you're absolutely correct. I know a lot of the Disney responses have been, with Uber and Lyft, we're just not getting quite as big of a market for Magical Express. I can say that the vast majority of the people I book who fly down use Magical Express. So I'm not seeing what they're seeing, although I will, concede that it's a very small percentage compared to everyone else there. But I still think it's a good sample. Amanda says, I have to say that I have been twice since the parks reopened and have not used the Magical Express. I opted to rent a car so I could try to cut down on some potential germs for my kids. The kids who love to touch everything on the Disney buses. That's a good call, though, Amanda. I agree. She goes, prior to that, I always use Magical Express, and I'm so sad to see it go. I thought for sure they would charge for it before they ever took it away. It seems silly since it's a perk to keep people on property. Amanda, I agree with you also. I assumed that once the parking went into place at all the resorts, that a charge, and we even talked about this on the show a couple years ago when it started, because they started charging for parking. This is in my notes. March 21st of 2018. Like I said, I thought for sure it was going to become a paid option, and let's just say it's not too late for that. They could come back and say, due to popular demand, we're going to bring back Magical Express, but we're going to charge for it. So we'll see how that goes. Full disclosure, I also, myself, personally, never used a Magical Express, because we usually either drove down, or when we did fly down, we rented a car just because I like having my own car. But I can certainly appreciate a lot of people who on vacation don't want to drive. Maybe they don't know how to drive. or, it's their vacation. They just don't want to drive or rent a car. So I can totally understand that. And really at Disney, you don't need a car too much. I just kind of use it because I like to kind of have my own time schedule for things. So Joey Brewer says, I used it for the first time on Christmas Eve. Super convenient, but I get not needing it anymore. The only reason they did it in the first place was because someone from wanted to run a train from the airport to Universal to Disney, and Disney didn't want to cover the cost if they weren't the first stop, and they would potentially lose business to Universal. Brightline would skip Universal and go right to Disney Springs. Better option, I think. I will say, I know Brightline's being advertised as a high-speed train. I'm not sure if it will actually be a high-speed train from the airport to Disney Springs. Not it's so close, it probably wouldn't get up to like a high-speed thing. And I'm also wondering, and I'm sure it's out there somewhere, is it going to be like a loop where it'll come and loop right back around? Is it going to be one train like zipping back and forth on the same rail? I'm just kind of curious how this is all going to go. But once you get to Disney Springs, unless you're going to reinstate, taking care of your luggage once you get off the plane back to your hotel, are you going to have to drag your own luggage onto the train, off the train, onto whatever bus from there? Would they want you to get an Uber from the bus station at Disney Springs? I don't know. There's a lot of questions. I would like a little more answers with this latest announcement. TJ Fry says, personally never use it. Did I read correctly that it means that the bag check at the resorts isn't coming back? That's a huge loss. I'm not sure about the bag check. I don't think so, because I don't think, at least right now, they're going to do that. So we will see. Margot Mead says, I love how the announcement includes a statement that they'll be letting their resort guests into parks early. Does one make up for the other? No. Margot, I'll answer for you there also. Probably not, since that was something we could always do before COVID. But it's probably a contract issue with the company. I will say, again, a little mini rant here. I'm tired of vacation destinations or just anything in general using COVID for an excuse for every single thing. I'm not saying that's not a factor, but I'm tired of COVID-tunities, is what I'm calling it. COVID-tunity. We're going to take this opportunity to do something we've been wanting to do for a while, which might be right in Chapek's wheelhouse. So, speaking of COVID-tunities, as things start looking, as the light at the end of the tunnel starts getting brighter and brighter, that we might be coming out to the end of this, I wouldn't be surprised to see more announcements made to get them in under the wire while they can still use the COVID as an excuse. Just a prediction from your friend Tim Scott. Lynn says, well, we love Magical Express. We take it, we get to Disney, we stay at Disney, we go home. Exactly. Maybe you don't want to drive in Orlando traffic. I will say it's not as bad as a lot of people think it is. I mean, I-4 can be a disaster sometimes, but it's really not that awfully bad, especially if you take the toll roads from the airport to Disney. So if that's what you have to end up doing, I will say, and I've said it before, the Orlando airport, fantastic for renting a car. You get in, you get out quickly. They make it very easy. Sydney Seeger says, I'm so upset by the news. We've used it almost every trip and love it. It's been so convenient to use getting from the airport to the resort. It gives me that feeling of joy. Going to the Disney bubble that you don't really get by using a taxi. We've done it, and it's just not the same as Magical Express. I hope they'll have something similar because I really don't want to have to pay for a taxi from MCO to the resort. That could be pretty expensive. Yeah, Sydney, hopefully they'll work something out there, and maybe there'll be a couple new business opportunities for people out there. Amy says it stinks. The luggage service and the free transportation to the resorts is a huge draw to staying in property and starting off right inside the bubble. Not to mention, if you rent a car, you also have to pay parking. And what about families with small children who need car seats? This is a bad move on Walt Disney World's part. In my opinion, I do, however, predict a similar paid service to be rolled out by the end of the year. Amy, you're brilliant. I love it. I kind of think the same thing. Matthew Wallace, hey Matthew, he goes, it seems as though the bubble is falling apart. For many, this is where the Disney experience begins. And it's been a fabulous selling point for Disney travel agents. Good point, Matthew. I agree. Leslie Murphy also agreed. She wants to keep the Disney bubble. Let's keep it pure. Oh, Jim McNair says, more magic melting away. They continue to erode the value of a Disney vacation. I understand that they are under financial pressure, but this is a perk that almost everyone used that stayed in the Disney bubble. I sure hope it's a rumor. And I answered him that it was not a rumor because I had the official notification. Karen Ellis said, this is so sad. This is the main reason we stayed in the bubble. Reasons we love Disney, not having to worry about luggage and transportation, the live entertainment, great food, pleasant environment with great customer service. All those have been cut back recently. A lot of that due to the COVID-tunity. Stephanie Wall, it's so sad. Just another magical thing that's gone that set Disney apart from other vacation spots. Cal Connor said, this is fairly sad. This was so instrumental in ensuring you're always in the Disney bubble. It started when you arrived at the MCO airport and you never had to worry about going to get your bags. You hop on the paid transportation that you already booked, and the next thing you know, you're at your Disney hotel and taking a bus to the park or wherever you need to go. He goes, yeah, maybe an Uber is faster, but it just seems greedy to me. Now people will need to either rent a car or take an Uber. My guess is they are banking on 20% of the people that were using Magical Express doing a car, and therefore, if not on DVC property, paying for the parking. So now they don't have the cost of those buses and increase revenue in other areas. Yeah. Monica Pinto, she said, we always used it and thought it was fantastic. Now we'll have to figure out other transportation, which is another expense, plus grab our luggage. Disney is really shooting itself in the foot. Vicky Marie, hey Vicky, she goes, not impressed. For those of us traveling internationally, we have a lot of luggage, and Magical Express made it so much easier. Also, when you've come off a 10-hour flight, it really helps. Oh, Vicky, God bless you, absolutely. Chad Pennycuff says it's a huge mistake. JT says, enter a rant about paying for parking and now no free bus. They have guaranteed revenue. The writing was on the wall. I missed the statement on the website. On their website, parking is always free when staying at a Disney World resort. Oh, JT, so true. I will say, I'm still surprised they didn't make it a paid thing. Not that would have made me any happier. I probably would have been as angry. Maybe more angry. I don't know. Amy Neese is saying there must be something better in the works. That is so strange. Amy, we're talking about that train, but again, something else in the release probably would have been a little more helpful to us to help calm us, the villagers. So we'll see. Mike Solava says the bus seemed way more convenient than this new train. I'm guessing that you have to take a bus to the train and then take a bus or an Uber from the train to your hotel. He goes, I'm a local, so I've never used the bus. He may be completely wrong. Mike, we're gonna have to go get somewhere from the train. I don't think the train's gonna stop at every resort. Brian Stern says, I wonder how much money Disney put into the railway that's being developed. My gut feeling is a lot. I would assume that Disney thinks that the railway can absorb the traffic and that you'll see fairly heavy bus service to the resorts from the terminal. Pity though, I love the Magical Express. It was a great way to start a trip and was a nice cap at the end. Jeremy Hunt, he couldn't be on this show, but he'll be on down the road. I have no doubt about that. He said, so now I've processed this a minute. Now here's a rambling thought train. Full disclosure, even when we made trips to Walt Disney World while out of state, we never used Magical Express. We always did rental car or taxi. Though I see the allure of Magical Express has to be incredibly expensive to provide as a service, and the world of Uber Lyft really has changed the game in important ways. I know I would definitely do Uber over DME because it puts me in control. I don't have to wait. I can just schedule my ride and I go off. Or off I go. Either way, he's on his way. He goes, lastly, you can bet this decision was made using hard data. Looking at number of people still using it versus Uber and then weighing the cost of the service, they made a call. I'm the last one to defend their cost over everything approach, but whether I like it or not, the decision does make some sense to me. Again, it makes some sense. I could have used a little more detail in the announcement. I'm sure we'll talk about that down the road, Jeremy. I have no doubt, but it stings a lot of people. But I will say that at least they gave us a year the heads up. Joe Herco says it's because of the light train that they're building. Phil, he hasn't used it since they discontinued the baggage service because that was a big part of the Magical Express. Brittany Eichelman, you just heard her on the last show. She did her most recent, or her very first vacation as a DVC member. She goes, I'm really sad. I can't say I'm totally surprised because I honestly can't remember the last full Magical Express bus I was on. And I'm sure Disney has been thinking about cutting the cord for a while as Uber and Lyft have become more popular. Magical Express has always been a huge perk and part of the reason we always stayed on property. Hannah says, what's the point of staying on property anymore? Hannah, that's another good point. They've gotten away of 3 magic things in the past, few months. They got rid of the Magical Express, the magic bands, and the extra magic hours. So it's hard to say that we don't feel like the magic is gone because the magic is gone in some of these items. So Peyton Turner says, I don't think it's a coincidence that Brightline has set a potential 2023 completion date for Disney Springs Station at Walt Disney World. If it is 2023, that's a little more believable to me than 2022. Has anybody seen any construction over there anywhere where they were going to build this train station? I know there was some rumors about something going in over where crosswords, it's crosswinds. You know what I mean, right there by the village. It's been a long day. Robin Howard, how you doing, Robin? She goes, one of the best parts was having your luggage transported. We were there in September and had to transport our own luggage to the bus. That stunk. Absolutely. James Jamie Price says, I have flown once. I always have to have a rental car, so it didn't affect me when we went. I have some friends who are very upset. I'm thinking we need to start my own cab service when I'm visiting at the same time as my friends. JJP's tax service has a nice ring to it. Yes, it does, JJP. Carol Burgess says, I hate this news, however, not unexpected. Jill says, terrible news. Liz Irace is so disappointed. David Oppenheim says, on the bright side, I see a new business opportunity for the Resort Loop Travel Group. Who will be picking us up, Bob or Tim? Just make sure the Resort Loop travel van is in good working order. Ben says, is there a job opening for a driver and does it include lodging at Disney? Amy Nee says, I'll pay extra to have both Bob and Tim in the car. And I'm not flying in. 30 minutes is not enough for me. They can pick me up near Philly. We would swing by there. I will say, guys, if I was a local down there and I was doing this kind of thing full time, getting you guys down there, I would so pick you up. You book through me, I would pick you up and take you back and forth. In the Resort Loop van, how's that? Absolutely. I like that. I like the way that sounds. I have to work on that. By the way, ResortLoopTravel.com if you'd like to book a trip. We need to wrap this up. I feel like there's been an awful lot of ranting. I think I feel the blood pressure going up. I'll calm down. We'll be fine. David Minuti says, I honestly hate the idea of not being able to ride the Magical Express anymore. My wife made a great point yesterday. Once it disappears, we will never have an opportunity to see the joy in the eyes of our future children when the bus driver announces, we are officially in Walt Disney World as we cross under the arches. It's really sad to see Walt Disney World getting rid of so many things that made Walt Disney World so special. I understand that times change and progress needs to happen, but at what cost and how many kids and adults will miss out on that feeling, getting on a Disney-themed bus, watching Disney cartoons, playing Disney trivia with their family, and then start their vacation before it even leave the airport grounds. I'll sure miss it. I miss it already. Very sad day. Very true, David. That actually did extend the bubble to MCO also. Chad Pennycuff said, Mir said they will offer an a la carte service. Doesn't surprise me. Like I said, they were the official transfer company before Magical Express. So that was the feedback from Magical Express being, discontinued in 2022. Like I said, I wasn't very happy. And again, I never used it, but I can see where everybody would miss it. I hope the train idea comes through and it's very efficient and quick. I could only see if the train thing working if they actually are doing a Skyliner expansion, to the Disney Springs area, which, maybe that's their call. Maybe that's what's going to happen. But again, why not get that information out there? We're hoping all this to happen. So make it easier for me to swallow. Make it, you know what? I'm going to say it. A spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. I've heard that somewhere before, and I think that fits. So not that I still don't love Disney World. I know I kind of went off on a little bit of rants there, and I actually have calmed down since the initial thing. And then I calmed down, and then I heard about the Disneyland annual passes. I'm like, Tim, what's going on in the world? I'm wearing a mask. Which actually, that's a favor to everybody. Let's not kid anybody. I will say, if Disney wants to put a positive spin on this, let's take away the parking charges. I will come on and I will do the happiest show ever if I find out that they have reversed the parking charges for now until they get maybe this train thing up and running. I don't know. That's just my thoughts from me to you. If you have any thoughts on the show, be sure you can email me at tim@ResortLoop.com. You can go over to the Facebook group, Looper Nation Live. If you're not a member over there, why aren't you? Request to be added. We'll go through, make sure you're an actual Disney person. Because I'll say I'm very happy with our private Facebook group. It has been hand curated by myself and the other admins. We make sure that every person who's in the group is a Disney fan. I realize that we're not the biggest Disney Facebook group out there, but this group, if you're part of it, we've hand curated it. We've just not let everybody in like open season, come join the group so we can have big numbers. It's been hand curated from day one to make sure that everybody who wants to be a member is actually a Disney fan. And I think that adds a lot to the positivity and the good-natured fun and friendship we have over there. So maybe that's a little sappy, but I'm trying to wrap this up in a nice little bow as we start moving forward. So once again, I guess Uber or Lyft will be your thing. I'm going to wrap this up. Tim Scott, Facebook, Twitter, the website, ResortLoop.com. We're doing some things over there at the Instagram, where the kids maybe call it the IG. Maybe they call it the Gram. Maybe they call it the Insta. But that would get confused with Instacart. I don't know. I'm Tim Scott. You've been listening to The Gateway to the... See you, everybody. See, I didn't say the word magic at the beginning or the end because that was gone. Like Magical Express, the extra magic hours, and the magic bands. So that was the reason for that. I'm out. Vacation memories will stay with you and your family for a lifetime. The Resort Loop Travel Group was created with this in mind. Our fee-free services will relieve you of the stress and confusion of finding and booking the best vacation at the best price. After booking, we will continue to monitor for ways to save you even more on your vacation. We will check for any upcoming packages and discounts to save you as many vacation dollars as possible. Resort Loop Travel Group, gateway to your magical vacation memories. Get a quote, or for more information, visit ResortLoop.com.